Hello, everyone. We're going to take a look at 3.04, the Federal Reserve. So again, just like the 3.03 with the fiscal policy, we're looking at the macro economy here. So the Federal Reserve, also known as the central bank, is the banker's bank. It is the U.S.'s bank. When Bank of America wants to get a loan, or Wachovia or Chase, they're going to go to the Federal Reserve. They're our central bank here. The Federal Reserve, or the central bank, their mandate is to do two things. They are designed to keep prices stable, so they want to keep a low level of inflation. Their goal is to have an inflation rate of around 2% in the United States. And their other goal is to keep unemployment low. They want to have a low level of unemployment, close to our natural rate of unemployment, around that 4% rate. And they'll be able to do this by manipulating the money supply, or how much money is out there. And we'll talk about that later in 3.05 for monetary policy. So in this lesson, they kind of discuss how the Federal Reserve can impact your life. And on that first page, they can just kind of click through here some of these of whether or not the Fed has a dramatic impact on you, or it tells you what's right or wrong. And you can understand that the Federal Reserve does have a large impact on our lives because they'll control the money supply, which will then impact interest rates. And interest rates are things that will impact you on your college loans, your student loans, car loans, house loans, all sorts of things. If there's not a whole lot of money out there, it'll make it hard to borrow money and make things cost more to borrow. They do have a dramatic impact on you. This page 2 talked about the structure of the Federal Reserve and how it's lined up. You can click through, and it talks about how the Federal Reserve is broken up into these different elements, and it gives you information about those different groups here. And the Federal Open Market Committee, they're the ones who are going to decide about those interest rates, and the Federal Reserve banks. The other member banks, like Bank of America, they'll get loans from the Federal Reserve, and other depository institutions there. And it breaks down where the 12 different district banks are located. Then we can get over and discuss how the Board of Governors does impact your life, or the Federal Reserve impacts your life. And the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, has the ability to impact you as well. Then it talks about how the Federal Reserve will supervise other major banks, make sure that they're abiding by the rules. They're going to supervise other banks to make sure that those banks aren't breaking the rules. Page 3 of 5 here talks about how the check processing actually works, and how the Federal Reserve is going to be the bank that clears checks to make sure that we take money out from, if you write a check from your Wachovia bank and you deposit it into you write a check to your friend, and their bank is Chase. They want to take money out of Wachovia and put it into Chase. The Federal Reserve is going to make sure that happens there. That kind of brings us to the end. It's just kind of talking about the overview. On page 4 or 5, this is for everyone to do. They want you to go through and take a look at this crossword. And the crossword there, you can click on clues. It tells you, 3 across, the blank appoints the Board of Governors, collaboration between presidents, regional banks, so you have all these clues. By doing this crossword puzzle, it's going to help prepare you for the quiz for 3.04 that everyone will have to take. So go through. You can just click on that if that's easier for you. You can just type that in there. After you do the quiz, if you're a standard student, you're good. And honors students, you'll take the quiz and then move on to the honors assignment here. And on the honors assignment, you're going to write a 3-paragraph essay explaining the positive impact of the Federal Reserve, the negative impact of the Federal Reserve, and then which way you lean. Do you, after looking at all the evidence, do you believe that the Federal Reserve is more positive or more negative? So essentially, you're just going to research, and you can use kind of these statements into a Google search. What are some of the positive impacts of the Federal Reserve? What are some of the negative impacts? And it, explain why you believe the Federal Reserve is either positive and or negative. And then type that into a Word doc, and then you'll submit it. But that's the assignment there for 3.04. So you got the quiz, and then you got the writing assignment for the honors students there. All right, hope that helps. Take care, guys.